question 1. Linac Co. And like I mentioned, this was one of the cheapest questions in the paper, but students were having problem with it. Requirements. A. Calculate the activity-based recovery rate for each cost pool. Then B. Calculate the total cost, the total unit cost and selling price of product ZT3. So we're dealing with product ZT3. So, like I mentioned, the A aspect, I mean, everybody was able to do that. Linac Co. operates an activity-based costing system and has forecast the following information for next year. So we have a cost pool, we have the cost drivers. General fixed overheads such as lighting and heating, which cannot be linked to any specific activity, are expected to be $900,000, and these overheads are absorbed on a direct labor hour basis. Total direct labor hours for next year are expected to be 300,000 hours. Linac Co. expects orders for product ZT3 next year to be 100 orders of 60 units per order and 16 orders of 50 units per order. The company holds no inventory of product ZT3 and will need to produce order requirements in production runs of 900 units. One order for components is placed prior to each production run. 4 tests are made during each production run to ensure that quality standards are maintained. The following additional cost and profit information relates to product ZT3. Component cost, $1 per unit. Direct labor, 10 minutes per unit at $7.80 per hour. Change the units there and make it per hour. Change the units there and make it hour. $7.80 per hour. It should be per hour, not in units. Markup is 40% on the total cost. So this is a question that we have. Sorry?
It's okay.
So this is a question that we have, and the examiner is asking us to A, calculate the activity-based recovery rate for each cost pool. So we don't have to think about anything. So we go straight to calculate the overhead absorption rate for each cost pool. So the overhead absorption rate, the first cost pool there is what?
Setup.
The production setup. So that is going to be, what's the overhead?
105,000.
105,000 over
300.
300. 300 what?
Setups.
Setups. So when we divide what we got?
$350.
$350 per
Setup.
So that is the first production or overhead absorption rate. Second, what do we have?
Production testing.
Production testing. What we got?
$300,000.
$300,000
over 1,500 tests.
1,500 tests. So what we got?
$200 per test.
$200 per test. Next one.
Component supply and storage.
So component, so let me just put in brackets supply and storage. How much we got?
$25,000.
25,000
over 500 component orders.
over 500 orders. What we got?
$50 per component order.
So $50 per component order. Last one.
Customer orders and delivery.
So orders and delivery. What you got?
112,500 over 1,000 customer orders.
And that's gonna give us
112.5 per
customer
order.
So that was the A aspect, no brainer. Everyone was able to go about it. But the B aspect is where the problem is. Now listen to this carefully. The way we deal with activity-based costing and any other overheads, it's simple. We deal with it by, after calculating the overheads, we express it on the actual events that occur. So if we want to do the B aspect, which is the cost of the product, we need to ask ourselves, how many setups did we actually make during the year? We need to ask ourselves, how many tests did we actually perform during the year? We need to ask ourselves, how many components, supply, and storage did we do during the year? Then we need to ask ourselves, how many customer orders did we deliver during the year? So these are the overhead absorption rates, and we're going to be express these on what? The actuals. This is the key thing you guys missed. So if we are going to express these on the actuals, how do we get the actuals? So we come to the B aspect of the question to build up our workings. Remember, aside these overhead items, the examiner said there was a fixed, general fixed overheads, which cannot be linked to what? Any of the activities. So we should absorb it based on what? Labor hours. So we're going to be calculating the overhead absorption rate for the general overheads. And that's going to be what? What was the general overhead?
$900,000
over
300,000.
300,000 hours. So what we got?
$3
$3 per what? Labor hour. The overhead absorption rates that have been computed must be expressed on the actuals. How do we get the actuals? The way we get the actuals in this question is the second paragraph. So from the second paragraph, we can determine the actual things that happen. So let's go to the second paragraph. I want someone to read that for me.
Linac company expects orders for product ZT3 next year to be 100 orders of 60 units per order.
Pause. The company expects orders to be 100 orders of 60 units per order. What does that tell you? What does it tell you? It's English. Let's understand the grammar then. Customer, or we expect orders of 100 orders of 60 units per order. So what is that? So we need to get a total units that has to be what? Ordered. Build it up. Go ahead, Precious. Continue.
And 60 orders of 50 units per order.
So pause. So we need to get the odd number of units that we're going to be what? Selling. So total units. And I want you to stay with me. When we finish, you can write and make sure you understand me well. So the total units that we're going to be having will be 100 orders times what? 60 units per order. And 60 orders times 50 units per order. So let's work out the arithmetic, please. This is going to be 6,000 units and then 3,000 units. Or 1,500? 3,000 units. And so that gives us 9,000 units. Who does not understand that statement then? That's the first step. Linac Co. expects orders. So orders and delivery now, they expect to have what? 100 orders, which is 60 units per order, and 60 orders at what? 500 units per order. So look at this overhead absorption rate here. It is 1125 per what? Customer order. So what is the total customer orders they're going to have during the year?
100.
Can you all see that? 100 orders plus what? 60 orders. And that's going to be what? 160 orders. How many of you, whilst resolving it, did this? You didn't? Okay.
I got the orders.
You got the others, but I didn't get this.
Yes, because I didn't work.
I worked this. I worked the OA.
You worked this?
Yes. And then
But I didn't get this too.
I didn't understand this part.
Okay.
The production units, the production runs deceived me, so I chose. So I they said production runs of 900 units.
Yes. So we will come there.
In looking at it, I thought it was 900 units.
Okay.
Instead of
Okay.
the 9,000.
Okay.
So
So you didn't use this English, rather. You were using the 900 units. Right? Are you okay?
Yeah, I got the first one, but I didn't use.
You didn't look at the second one. Phyllis. Tijani. Francis, do you get the idea? I'll say. Eric. Oh, he wasn't here, but he's following. Back when here when we did Marginal ABC, right? You were here, yeah, so let's pick it up. So that is the English there. That paragraph there is telling us the actual. You see, the questions we solve in class, no? The examiner cooked the things for us. And they were in a statement form. So you could easily what? Pick it out. But here, no, they are profile. In the same really profile now, and as a management accountant, one of the critical things is English. And if you make, it's not just English, but the way it is what? Structured. So that is the first aspect. Let's continue with the English.
The company holds no inventories of product ZT3 and will need to produce the order requirement in production runs of 900 units.
Now, listen carefully, another bomb is about to drop. Production runs is the same as setup. Let me say that again. Production runs is the same as setup. In other words, in a question where the examiner gives us a cost pool of setup cost, we can use the cost driver production runs or what? The number of setups. So in this question, we don't have number of setups, rather we are giving what? Production run. And the examiner said that, read that line again, the company holds no inventory.
The company holds no inventories of product ZT3 and will need to produce the order requirements in production runs of 900 units. In production, so the order requirements, this is the order requirement, 900 units. It's, 9,000 units will be produced in production runs of what? 900 units. It means each production run we will get what? 900 units. So if I want the number of runs, how do I go about it? Will be 9,000 units over 900 units. And that gives me 10 runs. Are we getting the English? Very, very important. Very, very important. This is why MA is interesting. That's why MA is interesting. If you don't like it, me, I like it. If you don't like it, you write an exam too. Alright, so that is the number of runs. Now remember, I told you that runs is the same as what?
Setup.
The setup. Get this into your head. That anytime you're dealing with activity-based costing, production runs is the same as the number of what? Setups. Let's go.
One order for components is placed prior to each production run. 4 tests are made during each production run to ensure that
Easy. 4 tests are made during what?
each production run.
So, can you see another key thing here?
Yes.
What can we calculate?
Production test.
The test. So, if you want the number of tests we did, it's going to be what? The runs times what? 4. You see that thing? 40 tests. What's the F for say Abetiano? F for all. Are you following the picture? So it means that if you miss it from the top here, that's the idea about this. So let's look at what we have so far. For our setup, we got it covered, no P. For our testing, we got it covered, no P. For our orders, we got it covered, no P. Then after
Component order.
component order. Do we have that? Okay, there was a statement there I escaped. One order for component is placed prior to what?
Each production run.
So what does it mean?
10.
What does it mean? One order is placed for each production run.
Right.
So prior to each production run. So if we did 10 runs, then how many orders did we place?
10 orders.
Bright side one. Relax. Read that line again and let's see what's there.
One order for components is placed prior to each production run.
One order is placed prior to each production run. Indeed, if we did 10 runs, then how many orders did we place?
10.
10. Do you get the idea?
10 by the 1.
It's 10.
Yeah.
Yes. So, production or supply of components. So, component supply is 10 runs times 1 order. And that's going to be 10 orders. Any question, please? With Edian. Tell me, what was your challenge? Like, be real. What was your challenge?
First English.
Total units.
It's English.
The total units. That was your starting point.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
If
why
I
you?
had that, I would have been able to calculate them.
Because you had you were using the 900 thing here.
Yes.
So you were using the 900 to go through.
Yes.
Okay. Barbara, you said what?
Bravo. Up from here.
No,
Yeah.
the English from there.
That is
Okay.
what.
Tijani. Assignment no one you. I know here. One year assignment, no. So that is the workings we are supposed to do. Now read the final statement and let's get out of there. Okay, 4 tests are run. We've done that. Okay, so go.
The following additional cost and profit information relates to product ZT3.
Stay with me. Let me drop the final bomb. For the component cost, we are told it's $1 per unit. No thinking about that. But the labor cost, we must do something about it. So listen carefully. It says direct labor is 10 minutes per unit at 7.80 per watt hour. Okay. If we are producing 9,000 units and each unit requires 10 minutes, then the total 9,000 units will require how many minutes? So the total direct labor hours will be what? 9,000 units times A by Z?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. And that gives us how many minutes?
90 minutes.
90,000 minutes.
90,000 minutes. But you know, the rates are given in hours. So we're going to convert the minutes into hours by dividing it with what?
60.
60. So you divide it with 60 minutes, and that gives us what? 1,500 hours. So this is the actual hours. Remember, actual hours. But we need to get the rate per hour. Remember, we are told that each unit is 10 minutes per unit at $7.5 per hour. So how do we go about it? So to get our direct labor cost, it's going to be 10 over 60 times 7.80. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
Because if 60 minutes equals 7.80, then 10 minutes will be equal to what? That's what we're doing here. That's why we are dividing. So what do I get?
1.30.
1.30. Now you may be asking, Nhyira, why do we need that? We need that because we are calculating the cost per unit. So this is the direct labor cost per what? Unit. These are the workings you need to do for this question. Any question? So you can put it down and let's solve the question now. So these are workings for the question 2. Sorry, the B aspect. Remember, we are calculating the cost per unit. So these are our cost pool. We have the general overheads, the setup cost, the component supply and storage, the customer orders, and then the product testing. So after we calculate the overhead absorption rates and we get the actual events that took place, we now use that in our schedule. So can I have the overhead absorption rates respectively? 3. Setup.
350. 200.
No.
Wait, supply. 50. Supply is 50.
Customer orders.
2.5.
Production testing.
200.
So these are the overhead absorption rates respectively. Then we bring the cost drivers, the actual cost drivers we have. General overheads, it was absorbed using what? Labor hours. And we calculated the labor hours to be 1,500. How many production runs do we have? The actual event, please.
10.
10.
How many component supply did we do?
10.
How many customer orders did we receive?
160.
160.
How many testings did we do?
40.
40. So we're going to multiply them up respectively. And that's going to give us the total overheads. Can I have answers?
4,500.
4,500.
3,500. 500. That's 1 now.
272.5.
So these are our total overheads. Now remember the examiner said we should.
20,000.
What?
13,000 orders.
This one.
Are we multiplying?
What did she do?
18.
You added. We are multiplying these respect. 18.
112.5 times.
Okay. The rest are okay. So these are the total overheads respectively. But the examiner said we should calculate the cost per unit. So we're going to bring our production units. So what are our production units?
9,000.
9,000 respectively. So we're going to divide all by 9,000. So we are dividing so that you can get the overheads per what? Units. So total overheads per unit. Can I have answers, please?
0.50.
Where?
First one.
0.5. These are in dollars.
0.39.
0.39. 0.06. 2.
2.
Sorry?
0.89.
So that is our total overheads per unit. So let's add all up to give us the total overheads per unit. And that's what will be taken to the cost card or the cost sheet. That's it. So after you finish with it, so all the things we did, we are after this thing. So now that we have that, we can now answer the question and look at the cost card. And how do we go about it? We put the item here. We put the cost per unit here, which is in dollars. So what is the component cost? That was given to us. How much? In the question.
$1.
$1. Then direct labor cost, we calculated it.
1.3.
1.3. and we add the 2 up, that gives us
2.3.
Then we add factory overheads. And we did the workings for that.
3.
And that gives us the production cost per unit. How much?
6.14.
Then we add the profit margin, or its markup.
Markup.
How much is it?
40%.
So we take 40% of the 6.14. What you got?
2.46.
Add it up, and that gives you the selling price.
8.60.
8.60.
60.
That's the answer to the question.
Wow. I do not hear.
That is the answer to the question.
It's just what they used to.
It doesn't appear to be cheaper. It's the cheapest.
We didn't arrange it this way.
Now, so you look at how I did my workings here. This is how I do my work. Now, if you check my workings a lot of the time, you realize that I like to use 2 pence. The reason why I like to use 2 pence all the time is that your mind becomes bored by looking at dormant things over a long period of time. So that many of you, when you pick up your notes, you are not inspired to learn because it's not colorful, it's not playful. I think one thing you must do, or you can do, is to use more than 1 pen when preparing your notes. Or you highlight things in your notes when you are learning. When you do that, your mind is able to understand that, wow, this thing may be important, let's capture it. And that will make learning quite lively for you. So this is just a tip for you if you are interested in it. But it's one way you can make yourself productive and learn well. So that's it for activity-based costing.